Okay, namaste, great souls. Always wonderful to have satsang together, connection with spiritual truth and like-minded people gathering together. So good for our spirit. We're going to just review in some the interconnections of the first chakra, the root chakra, our base of the spine. The safety belonging, according to Maslow, is a lot about belonging. And we all know when we don't feel like we belong to something, we feel pretty disconnected. And we want to, of course, get back to connection, get back to the root. It's a root chakra, the earth energy, connect to the earth energy. I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to have a practice as we do it. But just to remind you of some the first in utero and the first year of life is a lot about safety, according to Erickson, and it makes sense to me. Safety, developing safety versus mistrust. So we want to have a foundation of safety. Hopefully we've had that year in our own personal lives. We can reflect on that, where we were, what was going on in our personal life at that time. But then we can also develop safety and trust as we're older. And we all want safety, right? We all want safety. And I know from just sharing with one of our dear members of the group that moving into your home has created a lot of ground and safety. So that's a beautiful thing. So we're going to honor that. We're going to start. Restorative yoga is really good once a week to do just slower breath work. And of course, we'll do that at the end. So let's start seated, comfortable seat. And I'm going to fold the blanket. And we're simply going to, like we do, take inventory of what's happening in our body right now. You can have the eyes open, the eyes closed. And just shift into internal awareness of the breath, of sensations in the body. And that's definitely one of the tools of the first chakra, is to tune in to what we're feeling, what we're noticing, and developing that witness observer. So we're in our body, but we're also developing witness observer. Well, it's here. We're tuning into witness observer. And just see what's coming up for you. Would you like an equal breath, perhaps? Exhaling and then inhaling perhaps to the count of 5. Holding the breath for a moment, and exhaling to the count of 5. See what number works for you, or if counting works for you. And we can feel the sit bones rooting down into the earth, whatever's touching the earth, feeling that ground of support. Really, really, really supporting you, supporting us all. Mother Earth supporting us all. As well as connected to the crown, the 7th chakra, universal 1,000-petal lotus, unconditional love. And we do want to ask ourselves, this is, am I safe right now? Am I safe? But inquire. That could be on the physical level, the emotional level, psychological level. And if that is established, we want to affirm, I am safe. So if the first is a question, am I? And then if that's established, relatively safe. There could be anxiety, worries, depression, etc. But can I come back to some form of safety within? And if that's true, we affirm, I am safe. Deep breathe in. So first we ask, then we state, and then the spiritual aspect of connecting root chakra to seventh chakra is the I am. So we just take off the word safe. Perhaps you inhale the word I, exhale the word am. Try that a couple rounds. Another English mantra we could say is what someone said earlier, allowing or just be. Just be. Try these on, see what works for you, and keep sensing, because in that witness consciousness, that's where we are free. That's where we are whole. That's where we're one. We're not in a lot in personal identification, okay? But this bigger, our spiritual self, whatever you call that, and in Sanskrit it could be Hong Sa. Inhale, H-O-N-G, Hong. Keep it real simple. Exhale, S-U-A, saw. S-A-U, rather. And that is I am spirit. So we could stay with the I am, the just be, the I am spirit. And we want to just keep coming back to the breath, back to the mantra, back to the deepest truth of who we are in our wholeness, in our spiritual self. And that wants to radiate, which it does, through our personal self. But the key is we want to allow that. We want to open to it. And we know that's what yoga is about. So let's get into more of a classic movement here. If you want to put the other foot in front, or let's come to Supta Baddha Konasana. How about that? Yeah. Hips circling around. And just keep tuning in. Perhaps you have a mantra you use to help you. And it's a big part of the practice of inward saying that to ourselves, chanting, circling, feel the core, and the first chakra, the root chakra, right at the base of the spine here. Okay, and now we're just warming up, of course, stretching the legs a little bit. We're going angled out, but what we're going to do to first warm up is to soften the knees and just kind of go side and bending the knees, reaching that one arm up. I'm reaching my left arm, and then coming back down, bending the knees and going to the other side. So we're giving ourselves a little bit more expansive energy, but of course you're feeling that core moving. Muladhara is the name, the Sanskrit name of the first chakra. Now we can get more into our classic stretching of the hamstrings connected to the root. And we'll reach that right arm inside. Think of a half moon of the upper body, reaching over. Side stretch, pulsing with the breath. And we can ask, strength and courage to fill my body cells. Or we can affirm, strength and courage, fill my body cells. Inhale, stretching up, lengthening through the crown, adding a twist, looking over your shoulder. And then coming back to center. Big exhales. Shoulders soften. Rooting down. Left arm inside. Right arm reaches up. You decide. It could be here. Reaching over. Either asking or affirming. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Deep belly breathing. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. When you're ready, inhale, sweeping up, lengthening up through the crown. So first and crown connected, interconnected. The first and seventh chakra, twisting. So that I am, or the Hong Saw, is connecting to the wholeness, the universal love, unconditional love. And back to center. Very good. Let's draw the knees in and maybe shake it out a little bit. Shake it, shake it. And we're going to come into variations of our cat stretch. I'm definitely going to use a blanket for the knees as the wrists are underneath the shoulders. So some of the tools I'll be weaving in that you know, but it's always a good reminder. As the tools for balance of the first chakra. One of them is to clear the clutter. Ooh, how about that one? So on a physical level, we're looking at things we can do. Exhale around the spine. Tuck the chin to the hollow of the throat. Inhale, scooping out. Eye gaze up. If you want it, as you round, come back more towards your heels. Feel free to do that. So we're clearing the stuck energy, of course, in our hatha yoga all the time, or when we practice, or when we do any kind of conscious movement. Exhale. And then we're taking that connection of the first chakra into our physical space. And then we're going to draw our left knee underneath you, lift up that right leg out to the side, and then just circle it down and around a couple times. Keep the core strength, keep the core engaged. Just a few times, bringing that hip flexor open, the hip open, and then reaching back with the right leg. A left arm extends if possible, and then folding our left elbow to the right knee. Do this about 3 times. Try to have it evenness across the hips. So I'll speak for myself. I know when I clear the clutter, oh, do I feel good. And then it comes again. It's a good practice. And then lowering the left hand, the right foot. My husband and I did a big one this summer of clearing the garage. That was a big one. Oh my goodness. Oh, felt so good. It took quite a while though, I mean, to do it, but it feels so good after. All right, before we go to the other side, I know that's a big ask. We're just sometimes talking about the desk. The kitchen, lift the tailbone up, tread it out. Keep pressing to the base of the fingers, magnetizing the heart toward the thighs. Full body stretch here. Maybe the first of the day, you may have been moving around quite a bit. Bend the knees, ripple if you want. Bar stay stable. Elongate. And then we're going to touch down onto the knees again. Bring that right knee more into the center. Find your position of the hands. The left hip, knee. The knee lifts up, the hip opens, and we're going to circle down and around. Be a little different than you may usually move, so the brain's got to get used to it. Okay, and then we add the opposites. Stretch that left leg back, lift off, even out the hips, engage the core. Opposite, right arm reaches out in front, palm faces in, and fold that right elbow to the left knee, extend out. Very natural for one side to be a little bit easier, more challenging than the other. Of course, we're working on that left, right brain balance as we do our body balance. Extend, check out the hips, bring that hand down, turn the back toes under, press into that hamstring, and take another down dog. Lifting up, treading out. Get the physical alignment principles going. Feel the root chakra. In fact, we could do 10 Kapalabates, draw the navel to the spine with this squeeze. Exhale through the nostrils. Begin. Slow it down. That's heat, fire breath, but we also want to feel there's a calmness when we release the outer layers of tension and we can rest within more. So calmness radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. So learning to return to that calmness, the I am spirit, one mantra and deities work for you as you come down onto your forearms. Don't collapse, but pulse forward and back. Core strong. Then the knees touch down. Okay, unfurl the toes. Imagine that block between the inner thighs. So we're active, very active in our legs, in our core, and our core strength. We're going to do 5 mini cobras. Okay, so to start to recharge the spine, strengthen the core, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, pulse up. So there's hardly any weight on the hands. It's more on the spine and the legs. And then exhale, ease, not all the way down, just pulsing and affirming. I rise joyfully to meet whatever's going to appear today. And maybe, of course, we're probably going to have moments of tension. Like that happens. But can we return to our wholeness? Yes, we can. Inhale, rising joyfully, maybe lifting the legs a little bit higher. But again, the elbows by your side. And down. This next one, we can rise all the way up if that's in your practice. Inhaling, rising up. Sticking out the tongue, eye gaze up, lion's breath. Throat chakra. Deep breathing. Okay. Rest in wide-legged child's. Check the computer. I got a message here. Oh, okay. 2 more people entered. We'll see what happens. All right. Interesting phenomenon going on. All right, so we're resting. We're returning to the I am, the home soul, I am spirit. And we're rolling up, rounding up, scooping out, back to our cat stretch. Very good. And then this time we're going to add, we're going to come back to down dog with our 3-legged dog. If that's in your practice, and our borders of the feet together, stretching that left leg up. And then bending the knee and doing those circles again. So we did them in our cat.
Now you can start from the inside or go on the opposite. Any way works with circling the hips. And then giant stepping forward into our lunge. Left foot forward, pulsing forward and back. So important, we know, to hydrate the hips, first and second chakra. Coming down on top of that right knee. Shimmy shaking side to side. Ooh. Right, so clearing clutter, eating, grounding foods, nourishing, cooking for yourself, nourishing foods. And I'm looking avocado, coconut, is all kinds of wonderful foods, as we know, to help bring us into our wholeness, really taking care of ourselves as we sweep up. And then exhale. All those good. I attune my will to the source of all power. Squeeze and soak. Once in a while, of course, it's nice to go out to eat as well. Okay. All right. And then from here, a little bit differently as we come down. So a lot of times we go into that Ardha Hanumanasana. And just do it a little differently, taking it out to the side and then stretching your arms. So more of an angle and stretching your arms out in front and going forward and back with the hips. So we're still getting that hamstring stretch, but I want to demonstrate how just moving that leg out to the side can feel a little different in the pose. So it's more of a side Ardha Hanumanasana. I feel like I get a little bit more stretch for some reason. I don't know if that's the case with you. Okay. And then bend the knee, that left knee. Let's go ahead and come up like a warrior two legs. So what this looks like, we're spinning that back foot, okay, the right foot 30 degrees. And then again, we're reaching out in front. If possible, we can use blocks. And from the ground up, which is using more core strength, more first chakra through the legs energy into our Virabhadrasana 2. So again, just how we approach the pose, and we're grounding, we're rooting down, palms facing down, can affect from the ground up than how we usually do it from upright. Open up and joyfully manifest the power of the divine. If you want to wrap a little bit more, you can, but see how much we can root and ground. Excellent. Rising up, transitioning before we lunge to the right side. We're going to come back into our plank. Step it back, go forward and back. Strength and flexibility are key. And then one forearm down, then the other, pulsing, and then resting. So we're going to bring our elbows out and rest at the spiritual eye, sixth chakra, large toes touch. With a gentle squeeze at the root chakra, connected to the sixth chakra and upper chakras. Saw, I am, just be. You're inhaling the word, one word. I, you're exhaling, am. Inhaling just, exhaling be. Inhaling hum, exhaling saw. See what works for you. As we do our quad stretch now. So when you're ready, feet hip width apart. Left, the right arm is going to extend the most, because what we're going to do is we're going to bend our left knee, rotate the ankle a little bit, And then we're gonna reach back first with our quad on the ground. So I said arm out first, but you probably need to bend that elbow, I do, to grab the foot. And then just kick it back. So first just kick it back with the left thigh on the ground. The right leg still strong. Couple breaths here. And then we want to see if we want to lift up the upper body and lift that thigh off the ground. I'm going to keep my elbow bent here in front of me underneath the chest. So it's our half bow, okay? Recharging our spine, dynamic, it's strong, back bends are strong, energy invoking, and ease now. We bring that heel in as much as we can. We release the left leg. We have a moment again with our mantra. Hong Sa. Hong Sa. Keep training the personal identification, the ego self, to return to the greater self. Rising up. Rising up. Inhale, Cobra Bhujangasana, one lion's breath. And transitioning, toes turn under, hover, lift the knees off the ground, strengthen the core, and pour it back. Pulse it out. Peace. Calmness radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being, rippling or not. One more, maybe figurating, whatever your body wants to do. And before we go to three-legged, let's step one foot forward, then the other, one hand, then the other into our forward fold. Uttanasana. Try to be rooting at the 4 points of the feet, the inner, the outer heel, below at the ball of the foot, the little toe between the little toe, fourth toe, large toe, second toe, those grounding points. And relaxing and casting aside any unnecessary mental burdens. And to protect the back, bending the knees, sweeping the arms back in chair. I've been really enjoying the opposite arm chair, meaning the right arm back, the left arm forward. And then switch. Rooting, very rooting pose. One more time if you can. And then another. And then both arms up. Feel the space all around you as we come into our mountain pose. So symbolic of our root chakra. Grounding toward the earth, those 4 points, bend the knees, yield into the earth. Yeah. Be present to your body and observe the sensations, ideally without judgment. Again, developing that ability to check in without judging. So important. And then lengthening through the crown. Bringing our hands to the heart and namaste. Unconditional love energy of the heart to the upper chakras. Bringing in others you'd like to send a loving energy to. Any celebrations. Okay, let's bring those others into our practice. If that speaks to you, tapping at the spiritual eye, opening through the crown, interconnecting root and crown chakra as we arc it back. And then swan dive forward. Stepping it back to three-legged dog if that's in your practice. Inner borders of the feet together, heart wide open. Possibly the right leg lifts up. We bend the knee and we can bring it either to the inside of the knee and then around, or going from the outside in. See what your body's wanting right now. 3 times, that same hip opener, but in a different plane, from cat to dog. And then look at the hands and giant step forward with this right foot. Take your time to bring it forward and pulse. As we pulse up, eye gaze up, and then we look toward the front of the mat as we reach back through the back heel a few times. Open the toes of the front foot. Come on top of that left knee. Shimmy, shake it. If you want to bring it the arm inside and step, you can even go deeper. You're rolling onto the little toe side, opening the hip in a way that feels good to you. Okay. And then from here, we're going to turn the back toes under. So just to remind us that regular Ardha Chandrasana is like this. Maybe we can just taste it, touch into it, and then feel the difference as you bring that foot angled out to the side a bit more, but then you're reaching out with your arms and you're seeing where you're getting the greatest opening in that hamstring. So for me, it's right about here. Ardha Hanumanasana. And then prayers of care to others. Okay. And we'll come into our warrior 2 legs with that bent right knee. So we're staying close to the ground, close to the earth to rise up. So that warrior 2 feet. So the right toes turn out to the side, left foot in. Stretching here. Get a nice stretch here if we wanted to hang out here. But we're taking it from the ground up. Okay. And then reaching out, palms down for the grounding. See how much you can root down from the root chakra down through the feet into the earth. And then perhaps sweeping motion. Divine, I am divine manifestation of the light, of the healing energy. Looking out with the sun between the clouds now. Here for the much needed rain. Celebrating, we are officially out of the fire season. I just read that in the city news, so that's a celebration for sure. Okay, and let's flow. Let's come into our plank position. Plank pose. Reaching forward and back. It's in California. And then bring one forearm down, then the other. Forward and back. Tops of the knees. Back to our Sphinx pose. And we're going to take a rest before we do that quad stretch and half bow to the right side. So let's just take this in. Inhale, perhaps with the word of Hong. Exhale, Saw. Sanskrit for I am spirit. This is from Yogananda's teachings that we can all do a Hong Saw. And return to the truth of who we are. this personal identity that takes over a lot of the time, but we want we want the I am, the Hansa, to be bigger, which it is, than wrapping around the individual self. That's true safety. Okay, that's the deepest safety we could possibly have. In the yoga tradition, which is what we're talking about here. Okay, let's come in to our quad stretch. So I'm going to bend that right knee. Left forearm is in line with the mat. And at first, we're not lifting up. We're just, it can be a lot to reach for this foot. So if you want to strap, feel free. Now, left leg's engaged. Don't let it be passive. You can't help but feel that quad, right quad, very active. Then you decide if you want to take it into half bow. Okay, if you do, you lift your upper body, or you could stay where you are, and then the thigh lifts up, but the shoulders square forward. So it may not even look like my thigh's off the ground, but I could definitely feel the difference of the lift off. That's it. Excellent. And if you're complete for now, let's have a moment of ease again. Keep returning to the mantra. That mantra be louder than the thoughts that are continually spinning and the moods that come and go. Okay, that's just part of what happens in the personal identification. All right. So from here, we are going to take it into a full bow if possible. So first locust, back bend. So first lift the upper body and the legs and the arms if possible. You're surging upward on these wings of joy. And then see how that feels. You could stay with the locust salambasana pulsing, or you can try the full bow. Bending both knees, flexing through the heels, and then kicking the legs back, and that will lift the heart, lift the thighs. This is tremendous, wonderful back bend, but also for our digestion. We can really feel the cleansing action of this pose on our internal organs. So physically cleansing the internal organs is a big part of yoga. Releasing for a moment back to the Hong Saw. Hong on the inhale. Saw on the exhale. Safety, security, belonging to something greater than an individual self. And then we take it back to our cobra, rising up. And either down dog or wide angle child's pose. So see what your body wants. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm changing it up as I'm talking. Let's take it, because we did several back bends, into a rabbit pose, an opposite. And again, so good for our digestion. If we can fold over like that, tucking the chin to the hollow at the throat. Holding on to the heels, we're going to roll onto the crown of the head. Inhale. And developing this sense of mastery over our body, our emotional body. I'm a master of my body, and I'm a master of myself is the affirmation. And then we melt down. We create some space with the knees. Maybe we rest our hands either out in front or back to the spiritual eye. And then rolling up and just taking, if it's too much, which it is for a lot of people to sit like this, we're just going to take in. When we feel those ripples of worries, doubts, fears, we acknowledge them and we come back. We be compassionate to those tender places within ourselves. And we come back to our deeper truth of our mantra. Inhale, I. Exhale, M, spirit. And restoring, coming back. Sometimes in more tender times, we want to go more yin yoga, more slower, more restorative. So that's part of the root chakra as well. So let's bring our knees into Malasana for transition. In our squat pose, you could sit your heels on a bolster or a blanket. Be mindful of the knees. Another tool, which we know as we rock side to side, rocking, soothing, of course, walking in nature. Having those literal earth connection, the presence, and being outside. It's very typically prescribed at least 20 minutes, 5 times a week, but if possible every day for as long as you can. I know that's not always possible, but we know the benefit of that. So walking in nature outside. So cooking for yourself, gardening, tending to your garden. I know a lot of you are gardeners, are very, very know the power of that. So these are all earth chakra, root chakra ways we can restore, clearing the clutter to remind us. And now we're going to come into, we do a lot of forward and back bends. We can do more side stretching here of the hands in on top of the thighs. Inhale, coming up, back to our mountain pose. Back to our roots. Root chakra drawing into the earth. Lengthening through the crown. And coming into our side stretch of our Trikonasana. So I'm going to grab a block and some water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So on the physical, another restore balance to our bodies is getting body work, getting acupuncture, massage, Reiki, chiropractic, whatever of those practices speak to you. Put them in the program as we bring our block maybe to the instep. Opening the heart, feeling the flow. And expanding through the heart, through the arms, and then reaching over. Lightly touching and expanding into energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Keep those legs strong. Head to tail connected. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Reaching over to the side, if that is okay on your shoulder, as you circle around. Energy and joy, fill my body cells. I like to soften the knee to come up, so we tasted that in Warrior 2 again in our flow transition stance. And then coming up, before we go the other side, Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm just going to move the block over but have the hands at the heart. Loving prayers of care, celebration. Our friends at Polestar who had the community in Hawaii that unfortunately the fire, lava, they needed to move, but they just got approved after 3 years in the planning commission in Fort Collins, Colorado for their community last night. So yay for that celebration. So celebrations, think of what we're celebrating here as we lengthen up in the heart chakra and the root chakra, where a lot of the work, a lot of the physical work that's required in that example. And I wasn't a part of what they're doing with the planning and the zoning commission. But then the fruit of it coming after all these years. Okay. Relaxing any unnecessary mental burdens. Now, when we come up, wrists underneath the shoulders, elongate the spine. Let's add a twist, right? Left fingertips face the right hand. We're twisting the torso and reaching up. Get that extension from head to tail. And then the right fingertips face the left hand as we twist to the left. Tail. And left and right side, lunar solar connecting in the central channel, hands at the front of the hips as we come up. And then turning over to the other side in our Trikonasana. As our dedicated yogis on the call, only you know what you went through with the building planning redesign of your home under the circumstances of the fire and the loss, and then coming into your new home. Just so much heart energy for everyone, but especially for you both as you reach up. And again, the work of the root chakra, of the physicality involved in that, to feel the energy and joy of the fruition of all these years as we extend over, and as only you know fully, as we open up to energy and joy, fill my body cells. And grounding. That brings. Now we feel in our bodies as we bend the knee. And we do our warrior two coming up. So tracking that knee over the second toe, protecting your knee and hip to open up. And then let's take it into a down dog, full body stretch. Having your block by your side. So as we step back, we tread it out, or figure eight, or a combo of it all. Maybe even add the plank and the rippling. Ooh. At the depths of the I am, we're returning to the calmness and peace, radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Okay, let's touch down to the earth on the knees. We got one more strong movement because we've been actually building up to this pose, or half camel. Okay, Ardha Ustrasana. So if it's in your practice, have the block on the outside of the right shin or ankle. The left foot comes forward. Tailbone draws down. Right arm reaches up. And then we sweep it around. We can look back toward the block, but then recenter the hips. Maybe the left arm reaches up and the hips come forward. With calm faith, I open to thy light. With calm faith, I open to the light. So if you have a devotional practice, deity practice, you would bring in thy light, more of a universal love energy to the light. Either way, as with calm faith, I open to thy light. Coming forward. Now we do our regular Ardha Hanumanasana before we go the other side, opposite hand or toward the opposite foot, bowing to the wisdom of the heart. And then heart energy, interconnected of the chakras, is so connected to the physical energy of getting the persistence of getting the job done. Let's take a moment and switch. Take a moment before we switch to the Hong Sa. Inhale, Hong. Exhale, Sau. Or simply I am. I am spirit. Okay, go the other side. Getting our block ready for our half camel. More challenging. Okay, but tailbone, so, and then you decide if you want to do a different pose here as your tailbone draws down, heart lifts up. We sweep this left arm up and around. Know that the block is there on the outside of the shin somewhere. Recenter the hips. Lift that right arm up, perhaps. Hips come forward. With calm faith, I open to the light. With calm faith, I open to thy light. And then reaching up and sweeping the arm down, doing an opposite extension of the right leg, peel the toes back, left hand reaches over. Just know we added something different in our practice today earlier, bringing the same leg to the side. Forward, forward. Bowing to the wisdom of the heart. Letting it lead the way every day and keep returning again, because that personal identity just so used to taking, it takes shape, it takes space, the thoughts are going, but we use the thinking to return to our essential being. And bending the knee, and let's go ahead and take puppy before we rest on our back. So knees underneath the hips, arms extended out. For me, it's better to rest at the hairline. Some people are able to, if your neck's okay, the chin, but that's quite a bit. That's quite a lot. See what works for you. You have a space between each vertebra. And then walking back. And taking your time to take a moment, these moments, sacred moments. We want to develop these sacred moments throughout the day. We could definitely have a spiritual meditation practice of maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes to start, them longer, but let's take these moments now. Inhale, I. Exhale, am spirit. Inhale, just. Exhale, be. Beingness is already whole, already free. I say it every time, already here. Just get our personal identity to remember that and have that wrap around our personal identity from the root chakra all the way up. Okay, but this is where the beingness, it doesn't really reside in a particular place, but from the upper chakras it could stream down. And we each have a consciousness. We're going to come down. Well, first we're going to arc back, up and back a few times. So we lengthen up. Our hands can be on top of the knees or underneath, and then exhale round. So lots of ways to gain this flexibility in different poses. Exhaling. And then shimmy, shake down. What I didn't mention, because finance, money is a pretty big topic for a lot of people, yet it is a part of the root chakra. Getting our finances in order, of course, represents safety and security on the physical plane, correct? And so that's a big piece of the energetic of the first chakra as well. As we rock side to side. So many of us regulars on the call, I know you've done well because you're able to be in a retirement zone where that is, you've worked really hard to allow that. So just appreciating that first chakra energy, wherever you are, whoever's listening, wherever you are on that financial plane, we're maybe working toward that, or we're appreciating, it's constantly going, but how we feel about our financial security flow, and if needed, what you can do, just asking what you could do to help. Lots of strategies. It's not my scope of practice, but there are people that can definitely help with that. All right, so here we are on the ground. Let's go into happy baby pose. Up and walking up. I'm turning a little bit to the side here. And we're going to rock from the right corner of the abdomen over to the left. I'll try to really get into that low back. Iron it out. Maybe let's go ahead and extend one leg. We did earlier, but we were upright, but now we're on our back, stretching through the hamstrings in a kind of different, very different orientation. And then back to that Supta Baddha Konasana, but on our back. And just take a breath practice of any of the three mantras or anything you're working on. Inhale, perhaps with the Om. Exhale, soft. Slowly draw the inner thighs toward one another. Oh. We're going to go into our bridge and then release our back. So if you want to block underneath your low back, feel free. Otherwise, feet are hip width apart, large toes turn in, pulsing strong through the legs, ripple in through the spine to the shoulders. So your feet and shoulders are touching, inner thighs magnetizing, maybe inner line, or maybe you want some more shoulder circling here with the hands, circling like a plate. And again, every thought can be a bridge back to my divinity. That's what we've been doing this whole practice with the mantras. Using a thought, using mantra to return us back to our wholeness. And these mantras, I forgot to say, have been like the Hong Sa and the I Am have been spiritualized, rippled down by thousands, hundreds of thousands of truth speakers through our history. So at least 5,000 years that we know, probably more. So there's a lot that's we tune into. It feels like we're individually practicing, but we're connecting to a greater field as the point of it. And that feels good. Again, that sense of connection versus disconnection. Right knee draws in, left leg extends, our classic. I like to do this every class. I like to do this every day. Circle that knee around. A sense of belonging, connection. You know how important that is. And plant that right foot. Swivel. We do that every class, even though we're not in the physical space anymore. We're in a extended space of connection. Love that. Pulse back and forth. And maybe extend the leg, maybe not, but either way, the left toes are rotating up, the core is engaged, the right arm comes up and around, and we affirm divine life is within me and all around me. As the head is just easing from side to side with the movement. Heart open, soften the knee, adjust back on to the central channel, and just melt into the floor here. Come back to your mantra, come back to the breath. Now just exhale, breathe. Just breathe. Before we go to the other side, is this called banana. And it's like our half moon, but we're lying on the ground. So we're going to draw the inner borders of the feet together. We're going to reach our arms up. And we're going to arc it over to the left. And then we're going to bring our legs a little bit over to the left. So we get that kind of banana feeling going on. And then notice what happens when the right leg crosses up and over the ankle of the left. We just allow this doer active right side to extend the solar energy. And then coming back. Let's see how that feels. Full yogic breath. And then we draw the inner borders of the feet together, bending the left knee. Okay. Adjusting anywhere you need to. Rotating the ankle. You know this one. Circling the knee. And planting the left foot, swiveling over, and adding that wonderful twist. So back and forth, left knee, left shoulder. And then that core engagement really happens. You can keep the knee bent or extend it as the right toes lift up. You can't help it, but that really gets into the root chakra, right? Really, there's a squeeze and a soak action there. We want that intensity, and then we want the heart to open as well as we bring the left arm above the head and affirm divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. Oh, really breathe into that. Feel that. Open to it. Affirm it. Softening your left knee, coming back at your own pace and timing, finding the foot, swiveling the hips back onto the central channel, and going into banana, our new pose of the day, to the other side. So we're clasping the left wrist, but we're arcing over to the right, and we bring our legs over to the right. See how your body likes this. And then the top leg, top left ankle on top of the right. As we get that lunar stretch, the big focus with the root chakra today of the physical safety, as well as our ability to connect with the 7th chakra, 6th chakra, both of that witness, observer, spiritual self, whatever it is, or whatever speaks to you, universal love, unconditional love of the upper chakras, interconnecting with the root chakra. This is chakra energy work in our physical bodies, being practical in our physical world. We are in the physical world. Something higher animating all of this, as well as ourselves as we unravel. See if the knees, I'm just gonna bring the knees in and iron out the back. Take the hands on the knees, circle around with the inner borders of the feet together. I really want us to go into a restorative pose. I'm going to give a couple examples before we do that. Let's do our Pilates clock, just drawing the sacrum into the earth. So there's an arc in the lumbar and then flatten on the exhale. So it'll be 6 and 12, 12 above the navel, 6 below the navel. So we arc the 6, inhale, and then exhale, flatten. Neutral spine as we go from 3 to 6, from the right hip bone over to the left. We go side to side now. A little movement of the legs, but more focus on the lumbar, low back area. Okay, so one of the suggestions will be, especially if you have back issues, you want to take the bolster or roll blanket and use the couch or chair so that the calves are on the couch or the chair. The sit bones are on the earth, but then we have the support of the bolster or the blanket here. Okay. See if this works for your body. And or the legs up the wall with the bolster as well. Some of you do that as your restorative. Even though this is focus on the root, if you want more of that heart opener you would have, and your back's okay, then you would have the bolster still supporting the lumbar, but your cheeks on the ground and either legs extended or in butterfly, perhaps with blocks. This will be here 5 to 7 minutes for the restorative portion of the practice, Shavasana. Okay,
So getting cozy and comfortable is the key here. And finding our reminders as we're setting up our tools to balance. There's many other tools, but to balance the Muladhara chakra. And that is walking outside, cooking our own meals with grounding foods, proteins, grains, avocado, coconut oils, etc. Doing body work. And I didn't get into it, but this, of course, this psychological doing inner parenting, reparenting inner child work with a therapist, or practices of a genogram, a family map, identifying patterns, keeping some, getting rid of others. But that's a whole psychological foray that I'm not going to quite get into in this practice today. So let's start doing restorative yoga, which we're doing now, tending to your garden and clearing the clutter. So good reminders for Earth Chakra. All right. So I'll guide us through the body scan, but I'll really focus more on the mantras we've been using. Depending on your positioning, perhaps easing the head from side to side. Till it finds its natural alignment. Next inhale, just on your exhale, be. Keep going with that mantra, just on the inhale, be. Allow the softening. Invite the softening around the eyes, the forehead, upper and lower jaw. Being present in your body and observing without judgment. Hear that oceanic sound, and like you're steaming the back of your throat with the sound of the breath. Softening the shoulders, away from the ears. Feel meridians, pathways opening, the sensation streamlining down the arms. It's the temperature and the palms of the hands, digits of the fingers and thumbs. Deeply entering into the chest cavity. Practicing this hand script mantra on your next inhale, the word H-O-N-G, Hong. And as you exhale, Sa, S-A-U. Other thoughts probably will come in, but we just keep returning, letting this mantra be the focus. As you feel the internal organs, the ribs, we always do a wonderful cleansing when we practice Hatha Yoga together, of the cleansing aspect of clearing our stuckness, releasing as best as we can with intention and allowing both. We deepen our awareness in the low back, in the low belly, just allowing the inhale, the word I, exhale, am. And continuing with the body scan, if you're lying on your back, feeling deeply the earth, the Mother Earth support. And you could even call on deities that are classically known as the Earth Mother, perhaps Mother Mary, Lakshmi, Gaia, any of the goddess Earth Mothers that speak to you. Relaxing the cheeks and the thighs, left and right. Knees, the ankles, the calves, the left and right, all the way through to the soles of the feet, digits of the toes and heels, tops of the feet. And if there is an area of body or several areas that are in need of more healing, bring that, perhaps one of the Earth Mother deities, if that's in your practice, to ask for help there, or perhaps a color, a healing color that will help these areas rejuvenate and restore, restoring balance to our bodies and the earth. Learning to trust ourselves more and more. Doesn't end at the first stage of life. Returning to already whole, already free, already aware. Just notice if this is a time for you to return to movement or stay with the physical ground of Mother Earth. Restoring. If it is time for movement, you know to do that in a way that feels right, best to you. And we're going to send these healing energy prayers of care to others by visualizing them at the spiritual eye, opening the heart energy to them, perhaps rubbing the hands together if that speaks to you to generate some heat. Inhaling with the three syllable Om sound. Ah. 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 Bring our hands into Namaste, acknowledging that divine awareness within you and recognizing that energy in others, that divine awareness in others, letting it lead the way. And all these moments of our day as our personal identity is probably already is starting to take up space. What do I got to do? What's going on? This is part of what goes on here. And then we keep returning to our mantra, to our breath amidst it all. Okay. So I'm going to end the recording. And